じゃあ、自己紹介、お願いします。
はい、どうも、皆さん、ブレンデン・キャンベルです。BJ って呼んでください。カリフォルニアのロサンゼルス出身です。2年、東京の東小金住んでます。インターフェースのエンジニアとして仕事、リモートで知ってます。あと、うちの娘、ラナちゃん、14歳で、アメリカンスクール in Japan っていう学校に通ってるんです。あと、奥さん、アメリカ軍基地で仕事してます。7歳の可愛いワンちゃん、ゾイちゃんもいます。カスタムメイド作ったが趣味です。ベトナム料理すごく好きです。辛い料理すごく好きです。もっと高菜唐辛子もらえますか？以上です。よろしくお願いします。
はい、ありがとうございます。Good job, well done. Right, so Brenda-san, welcome to my YouTube channel and also congratulations on your completion of level 1. おめでとうございます。
Thanks so much.
Yeah, so when I met you first time on the group session, you couldn't say even one or two sentences very confidently, and you said that, yeah, I just started and not really feeling comfortable speaking in front of people. But right now,
Yeah.
and every time in the group session or even the coaching session, of course, you can actually say the sentences pretty quickly, and also there are a lot of sentences even like today. How do you feel so far?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good so far. Like you said, when I first started, even though living in Japan for a few years already, did not spend very much time learning the language. I thought maybe I would pick it up just from being around, but we ended up mostly sticking with English speaking group or meeting with international groups. So, like you said, I didn't really know very much when I first started. So now after 30 sessions of training, which, I can introduce myself now, I can go to the bakery and, ask for things. Restaurants, those types of things that I was not able to do before. I mean, now that I kind of have that under my belt, now it's going to be my focus is going to be more personal conversations. Because I do have some Japanese friends that I would like to be able to speak to, and they don't necessarily speak English that well. So I think if I'm able to speak to them, that would be a great accomplishment, at least from my part.
Yeah, amazing. Glad to hear. And Brandon-san, our listeners want to know you more. And can you tell me like where you live right now, what kind of a lifestyle, and what do you do for a living? Can you a little bit explain English?
Right now, we live in Los Angeles. I go kind of back and forth. My wife's there full time, so I just kind of go back and forth to make sure everything's good with our home here and everything. And it's still standing, no earthquakes. And that's pretty much, what we've been doing for the past few years. I'm a remote worker, so I can pretty much work anywhere. Time zones are different, of course, but I'm doing a remote work, you can pretty much do anything wherever you are. So it's not too big of a deal. And then we just decided that, this past year that we would probably want to stay a little bit longer. And so we decided to start looking at schools for my daughter for high school. So that's kind of where we ended up. And she was accepted to three of the private schools that we applied to, and she picked the one that she wanted to go to. Luckily, it's close to our apartment. She won't have to travel too far to get there. So everything's just kind of falling into place right now. And this is sort of my last large feat is to try and learn Japanese because everybody knows that it's not easy. And as we find out, it's the different nuances and just the cultural things that we may not understand. And that's part of what we're taught with, our coaches as well. They sort of explain those types of things to help us understand because it's not necessarily something that we're concerned with in the English language, but definitely something that maybe a consideration when speaking in Japanese as far as politeness and all that kind of thing goes. Yeah.
Yeah, we adult, we have children, we have family, and we have to work. And learning Japanese is kind of scary. Challenges is already great, but before, joining Japan Language Factory, like what challenge did you face with learning Japanese? Even
Yeah, so I mean, we tried different things, different apps. I'm a terrible student. I'm just gonna admit that right off the bat. Like I hate studying. I think it's just a waste of time. I'm a doer. So for me, doing the app thing and trying to figure out what they're trying to get me to say based on a picture, it wasn't connecting for me. So like I said, I'm a doer. So if I'm actively having conversations, like the way that we're taught with the Japanese Language Factory, that seems to stick with me a little bit better rather than thumbing through a book trying to figure out, what I want to say. Being put in a conversational situation, you get to hear the questions, and it may take a little, maybe like a little short period of time to figure out exactly what's being asked, but I'll figure it out and I'll
Mm.
reply and I'll reply. Obviously, that will be quicker, like
Mm-hmm.
muscle memory kind of thing as time goes on. But
Mm.
those are the types of things that help me as far as my learning goes with the doing type of thing, rather than trying
Mm-hmm.
to read through textbooks.
Yeah. And what do you think? When you saw the social media, people say, speak Japanese in 2 months, and it sounds pretty impossible, speak Japanese in 2 months. But what surprised you like most after joining this program? Actually, you joining? Did you see anything like you surprised?
So I don't know if you recall our first conversation we had, but I told you I had been following you for 2 years on Instagram
I
before I
remember,
decided to
yes.
sign up. Yeah, so I really wanted to make sure that, I did what I could to try and learn on my own, but I felt that I would just take a dive and say, okay, this might be the best way to learn it. Now that I'm in the environment, I can use what I am learning right away, basically. My neighborhood that I live in, to the store, to bakeries, all those kind of things. So that was my main focus when we first started, and I haven't been able to use it just yet because I'm not in Japan right now, but I will be back in 27 days, so I'm happy for that. Yeah, being able to use what you're learning right away is great, I think.
Amazing. So I know you have a lot of goal, in the long term in Japan, but so far this couple of actually months you tried this Japan language factory, and what actually the things, or how has learning Japanese with Japan language factory changed your everyday life?
I mean, like I said, I'm not back in Japan yet, so I haven't really used what I've learned. But you have your group sessions, so I try to join those, which I really enjoy because it's sort of my path of learning is going to be different from somebody else on the group lesson, right? So it's nice to
Mm-hmm.
hear different people's, what they're learning, and then pick up things here and there. So I've tried to do that. So that's great. The coaches are great too. They spend the time to obviously translate everything to you so you can kind of see how the breakdown of the sentence structure. But sometimes, like we'll ask a question and it's something that maybe you haven't even thought about for, whatever. But the thing is they'll find the answer and try to explain
Mm.
it to you so that you better understand, what the nuance is. So that's great. So that's what's kind of been helping me remember a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, like I said, when I get back in a few weeks, I'll be able to start really applying what I've learned on a daily basis. So I'm actually looking forward to that a lot.
Very
Can't wait.
exciting. Finally, you can use it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Right. So, what do you think? People want to go to Japan or already stay in Japan in general, not outside of the Japan language factory community. People are busy, people working and having family. It's always people having a fear of learning Japanese, even though maybe live in Japan or not. What is the advice for them to not actually just keep using the translation apps or not studying?
So probably the biggest thing, and I've been told this as well from other people, when you learn the language, the local people they don't look at you as a tourist so much. You can actually speak to them. The Japanese people in general are very friendly, but the majority don't speak English, and that's something that I found very quickly. Once we step off that base, it's a different world. So you have a different experience in Japan if you can actually speak the language. Some things that you may never learn because you did not learn the language. So that's probably the largest thing for me is I wanted to gain that experience, that level of experience, just not somebody who's there for a few weeks on vacation kind of thing. So that's sort of one of the reasons why I didn't want to live close to the base. I wanted to live further
Mm.
away, less chance of people speaking English because obviously around base a lot of people speak English. So I wanted to have that different experience. So for me, that's most important. But even if you're going for a few weeks, I think it's helpful to at least some Japanese, for the different situations you're going to be in because you're going to go to a restaurant, you're going to ask for water, you're going to need a napkin. I mean, those
Mm-hmm.
are just the simple things that learning you may have a different experience just because of those simple things that you can say. So that was like my main thing, to have that experience, that personal experience, but from being
Mm-hmm.
speak the language,
Amazing. Right. And then, you actually have level 2 and 3 already. So you
Mhm.
have just started, just a level one. So I'm sure you're gonna progress more and more. And also, how was actually the coaching session itself? Because, as an adult, going back to the school and, maybe sometimes, scary of a teacher, like, why you didn't study and why you don't remember or something. And a lot of people that have a fear of like the coach is good or not,
Hmm.
or
Right.
yeah. How was a coach?
So the coach that I was assigned to when I first started, interestingly enough, she has been to the Philippines. So we sort of had that already because my wife is Filipino. So we've been to the same places in the Philippines. So that was a nice rapport builder with her. And so we've just kind of built on that. Obviously, I was nervous coming in, trying to learn the language because I didn't completely know, how it was going to go at first, right? So it's a little uncomfortable, let's put it that way. But my coach is great. She's there's some days where I'm able to just consume a lot of information and other days where my brain just doesn't work and I just can't think and I just can't get the words out. So she's very, very patient. She understands that this is a lot. Then, like you said, try to remember at least one phrase out of each session. But sometimes it's hard when you got a lot of things that you want to really, keep in mind and learn. But I think at first I tried to do too much. I found I think after the eighth or ninth lesson, I was just like, wow, my brain is just not working anymore. So, but she was very, very patient, and we've worked through all those different challenges. And I'm actually looking forward to continuing on with her now that we have that rapport. I think she kind of knows my learning patterns and how much I'm able to devote to learning, which is not very much because I work all the time. So that's a good part. Having somebody who understands your sort of your situation from the get-go, and they can kind of curtail their lesson plan for that day to you. And sometimes we just jump right into it. Other times we are slow to get started. So it just depends on where we're at in our teachings for that particular week, and we kind of just go from there. So it's not minimal effort. You just have to put in effort. But for me, it's a better way to learn rather than, like I said, the textbook all the time.
Amazing. Right. So your coach is Chihiro. So you can continue level two and level three if you want
Right.
with Chihiro. And I'm glad to really hear that you didn't give up. I remember your long term is you want to have more business in Japan or you have more business opportunity, I think. Can you tell me your
Yeah,
future plan?
so I mean, we would like to have a few properties, maybe, have some rentals and then have some place that we call our own. So that's kind of our goal. So we're working towards. That's one thing. I mean, we would like to have our own place and to go and relax because I love the Japanese architecture, the old style homes. I would love to have an old style home and sort of bring it back to its glory, rather than being abandoned for however many years. So I'd like to be able to be involved in something like that and just have a nice little place to just go and escape everything if you can. So that's sort of the goal at this point.
Amazing. Right. So, to the audience that listening here, and if they haven't studied yet, what is your advice for them?
Sure. So I guess my main thing is, we all get uncomfortable at certain times. My thing is, if you're comfortable, you're not growing. So being put in an uncomfortable spot, learning something new, I think is a great thing to accomplish, rather than just doing the day-to-day monotonous things. So learning another language is definitely going to jog your memory and be uncomfortable in a certain spot. But again, you're going to be growing as you're learning this language. So everybody learns differently. You just kind of have to try what's best for you. But if you're going to put in the investment, make sure you put in a little bit of the time that you need. You're going to get it. You're going to get out of it what you put into it, basically. So I guess would be my only advice.
Amazing. Right. So, Brenda-san, thank you so much today.
Thank you. Thank you.